at the top here. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This episode is brought to you by WODProof app. WODProof recently launched a new program to help pro members improve their mobility and their range of motion while becoming a better overall athlete. It's called WODProof Bionic. It tracks your range of motion and it sets up a very specific individualized mobility plan for you. I highly recommend checking it out. The show is also brought to you by X Endurance. X Endurance is a sports supplement approved by Informed Sport for professional athletes. Some of the best athletes I know take X Endurance. I highly recommend giving it a try. I think my favorite product it used to be called Extreme Endurance. I don't remember the name of it now, but it increases your aerobic capacity. It's really very unique and one of a kind for X Endurance. And there's a discount code in the show notes on YouTube and our iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Back to the show. Christian. Today we have Christian Harris. Christian is a husband, father, entrepreneur, and CrossFit athlete. He's the owner of Move Fast, Lift Heavy Clothing, Move Fast, Lift Heavy Media, co-owner of Move Fast, Lift Heavy Training Gym in Long Island, New York. You've been to regionals 5 times, semifinals 1 time, technically like the same thing. You've been to the games once, should have been 3 times because 2022 went online. And then last year there were some complications and you were on the demo team 2019. Is that everything? Did I do my homework?
I think you did, yeah.
All right.
I'm impressed.
Well, it's kind of easy when you have your old website. Just go on there. So thanks for that. What's up, Christian? How are you today, man?
I'm great. It's a Thursday. It's International Active Rest Day for me. So I just got done with a little bit of a swim, and now it's time to pod.
I was confused by your Instagram post. Your watch said 1850, but then you posted 2000. What does that mean? You just didn't track 150?
I forgot to turn it on.
I hate that. I don't. Yeah. Since last March, I've been on the road, on this little road trip, and I lost my Garmin. It's probably in storage. I don't know where it is, but I used to hate when that would happen. I'd start swimming, and I'm like, damn, it doesn't even count now. All that work, nobody's gonna know. That's tight, man. International Active Recovery Day is Thursday. Do you change that coming closer to the season? Because obviously regionals, semifinals is 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do you change your programming to ramp up on weekends like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, actually, starting this week, I changed my training schedule to having off on Monday instead of Sunday.
Got it.
So I would go active recovery Sunday and Thursday, but now I'm going to go Mondays and Thursdays.
Got it. So nothing changes
hard days.
With Thursday. You just go.
Thursday's going to be the same.
Got it.
Yep.
If you were a character in any movie, what character would that be?
I have really taken a strong liking to Spider-Man from a young age, and these new movies, they're pretty dope. They fire me up, so I'm gonna go with Spider-Man.
Are you metaverse Spider-Man though? Because I see he's more stylish. He's more swaggy.
I like the new rendition that they have with Tom Holland. He plays a good Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I think it's most people, because I grew up reading all these comics. It was that's what we did. We went to the comic store when we were kids. And obviously play sports outside and stuff, but we just went and bought comics with $1 or something. And so I've read so many different Spider-Man comics, and when people get mad that there's a new Spider-Man, I'm like, well, there's different Spider-Man in the when you look at the history of these comics, there's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, there's the dark, kind of maybe evilish Spider-Man, there's the kind of grown Spider-Man that chases the girls, and you know what I mean, there's different Spider-Man. So this one's
absolutely
the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Tom Holland crushes it.
Yeah, he's good. He does a good job.
Okay, so you're Spider-Man. If you could, so I guess that would be what superhero you would be as well then, Spider-Man?
Yeah, why not? Let's go with it.
Okay. If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be?
3 words. Hardworking and humble.
Hardworking and humble. I was wondering if you were going to use that for 2 words or 1 word.
I mean,
Um,
we could go either way there.
yeah.
We can use the
um,
"and" as a word, or you
yeah.
know.
What where do I want to go here? What is your training look like? You know, actually, let me rewind. You've done teams for a long time. Was there a point in time where you decided that you were going to like strictly be a teams athlete? Was there a reason why you don't do individual?
I've actually gone back and forth over the years. Started individually, and then when that whole grid league thing came about, I kind of got turned on to the team side of things. So after our first season of grid, I pursued a team with Team Dynamics. This was 2016, and then right after that year, I went back to individual. And I tore my pec that year. That was the pec tear year at regionals. Came back again, went individual, I think for like another 1 or 2 years. And then the last individual season that I had was when it was the last regionals. And then from that point forward, I kind of just said, you know what, getting a little older here. I've got the experience. Let's roll with the team thing, and let's see what happens.
What do you think's more fun?
Team for sure.
Is it
The
because go ahead.
It's the training environment. Like, you get to train with like-minded individuals that are gonna push you day in and day out. Sometimes it could be a detriment because you're going a little bit too hard too often, but, it's always more fun when you're training team with people that you actually like, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And that can hopefully keep up or at least motivate you to keep up with them and vice versa.
Yeah, we were
Um,
just having this discussion, a couple days ago. We had, like, our first in-season official training session, and I was just saying, like, I haven't really had this dynamic since Dynamics back in 2016, training as frequently together, as we did then. So I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, and I mean, it's kind of you were sort of forced into that, right? Because teams used to be able to, you could be on a team with anybody anywhere. And now you have to be, they have to live, I think, for, I don't know, 6 months technically in your area or whatever.
Yep.
Um, so I'm sure in the short term that was kind of a bummer, but do you think it worked out in your favor now that it's forced you to like create an environment where you're training together all the time?
Oh yeah, definitely. It is, fun, like being able to like try to attract a more high end type of, I guess, I don't know, audience or team just by like grabbing big names. Um, but there is something about being able to train with your teammates day in and day out that the chemistry is just a little bit stronger.
Yeah. Or you can somehow be Annie and convince people to move to Iceland across the world.
I
And
mean, it's on my bucket list to go out there. So
I want
I
to go
heard
there this
great
year, but
things.
I'm like, I don't know when I would go there. But like now, I just want to go there more, because it's especially like meeting more and more people from Iceland or from that area. It's like, man, these people are all really cool. Like I haven't met anybody from that area that hasn't been like extremely interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's like they live such a great quality of life. The Icelandic natives, like, they're very active people. They're very healthy. They're into the, you know, health and fitness, nutrition, all that stuff. So
yeah, I love it. Um, Christian, if by the way, do you go by Chris? Christian, what do you most often go by? Christian, Chris, CH? Is there
probably
any?
Christian or CH, I would
Okay,
say. The only reason why I went with I am Chris Harris is because it's shorter. Like, I am Christian Harris is a mouthful.
yeah, one
And
more
Christian
syllable.
Harris was already taken. So,
Got it.
yeah.
Freaking Christian Harris, man.
It's a
I
very
think it's like a
common name, believe it or not.
yeah, yeah. I can see that. When I googled you, it was like a bunch of famous people named Harris. Like, as far
Yeah.
as I know, I don't think he's in. I don't think he's in. Uh, this he's not IMDb. That's not him. So I had to find you. Um, if you could tell your life story in like 2 to 3 minutes, what would that sound
Ooh.
like?
Ooh. Um, all right. Let's go for it. Brooklyn born, athlete from a young age. played every sport under the sun, not in an organized fashion, except for baseball. Moved around a lot, found my way to Long Island at about 14 years old, continued to play sports, continued to adapt to different high schools. I went to 4 different high schools. Tried football my senior year, which sparked a lot of who I am today. Weight room, camaraderie, team. Ended up pursuing football throughout college. Also, I'll backtrack really quick. Met my high school sweetheart, who's my wife currently, Danielle, and played football through college. Stopped with 1 semester left. I said, let me start working. Well, I started working and I said, I had enough of this commute. Let me start putting some dollars in the bank. I started working for this place called Parisi Speed School, which is training athletes, run mechanics, working on their strength and conditioning, more from like an athlete, traditional athlete side of things. One of my coworkers told me about CrossFit. I said, screw this thing. I'm not doing it. It looks stupid. Gave it a shot, got my ass kicked. The next month, I was all in. I had my level 1 at that point, started working out at a gym and working at a gym within a month. Fast forward about 2 or 3 years, I get my first injury, take some time away from competing and training. And I said, you know what? I kind of want to pursue the gym thing for myself. Opened up my first space. Within a month, I was closed down because my landlord partnered up with my partner that I'm with now. And we have our gym, Move Fast, Lift Heavy Training. It's gone through a couple of name changes, all while working and cultivating Move Fast, Lift Heavy, the brand, and competed over the past 10 years or so. And I guess here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So many different places we can go. I want to go to that injury. What was that? What were you doing when you tore your pec?
I was bench pressing. This was
regionals,
at
or you did this?
No, this was before the pec tear year. This was
Okay.
at OC Throwdown. I don't know if you remember that competition. It was in California. And one of the events was the combine test. So that was like a wheelhouse workout for me, playing college football. I tested it prior and I ended up getting like 21 reps on the 225 test. And when I did it that day in competition, I got to about 5 or 6 reps and I felt like almost like a crampy kind of feeling in my pec. I'm like, all right,
Like
that's
pulls
weird.
in.
And then I went down and tried to come back up and then I just felt it go. And at the time it was devastating. Especially being in California, away from home, away from doctors and things like that I'm familiar with and comfortable with. So I had no choice really but to kind of stay out in California for the duration of the trip, walking around with a sling on. And, at that point it was just spectator life.
Yeah. Yeah. I know the feeling. I tore my right pec, bench pressing as well, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
But, I think it's inevitable when you do that way too much. At least it was for me, because I just bench press like 3 days a week for the first 10 years of my like lifting journey. So, watched too much Dragon Ball Z. So that was like my eyes on the prize.
Yeah. Right.
I wanted a chest like those dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever reached it, but I know the torn pec feeling. And then you, especially when we would, like in Dragon Ball Z, their upper chest was crazy.
It's the upper.
So we'd do incline and I'd just be like, Dragon Ball Z chest. And then I would say that in the gym and people are like, what are you talking about? Like, don't worry about it. If you don't know about Dragon Ball Z chest, don't worry about it. And then you tore it again at regionals, or like was that
It was the
okay?
other side.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So it
Yeah.
was
So
funny
like,
when I tore it at regionals, I'm like, "Oh, I just did that again." I
yeah,
wasn't as devastated, but I was also having like one of my best years in terms of like where my numbers were at. I was, I think, 16th worldwide that year in the open. So I was having like a very, very good year up until that point.
God, man. What was the movement that you tore it on at regionals?
It was ring dips. The workout was 21:59 dumbbell snatch, I think with a 70-pound or 80-pound dumbbell, and ring dips.
Yeah, I just even before you told me, I just pictured ring push-ups or ring dips. Like every time I do those, it just pulls the life out of my chest. You know what I mean? Super
There's always
pumped. You
something
know
in
what
the
I mean?
back
Like,
of the head.
yeah, it's I don't even bench press anymore. I like aggravated because when you start CrossFit, but you've got a strong bench. When bench day comes up, you're like, oh, I'm coming. I'll be there. Like, and it was like a 3-rep max bench or something like that. And I was like feeling good. I think it was, I don't even know, 350, maybe 335. And on the third
Damn.
one, it was, yeah. I mean, when you got like short arms,
That's a big bench, bro.
like I said, you do it 3 times a week. Hopefully, no, I did. I competed in powerlifting and of course, did bodybuilding competitively. So bench was a regular part of the regimen. I think at one point, I don't think I know, my max bench was 415.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
but again,
legit.
it's like that was my one thing. And so now it's irrelevant. Like, it doesn't even matter anymore. And you think too, like, oh shoot, my chest is strong, I'll crush push-ups. But even on push-up days, I'm like fatigued,
Yeah,
uh,
it
it's
hits
not the
different.
same. But yeah, so I aggravated my chest doing that, I think 350 for 3. And I'm like, I'm over this. Like, why am I even trying to bench heavy in CrossFit anymore? Like that's like far above the 1 percentile.
For
Um,
sure.
I could have stayed around like 280 and been won this workout or whatever. Anyways, you mentioned your high school sweetheart. How'd you guys meet? Obviously in high school, but you went to 4 high schools. Which one did you meet her in?
The last one.
Okay.
So my high school career started in Brooklyn at Lincoln High School. And then at the tail end of that year, we moved to Long Island to a town called Brentwood. And in this town, Brentwood, they have a dedicated school just for freshmen. So I was in there for maybe 2 months tops. Then we went to like the main part of the high school. I was there for about a year and a half. And then I finished at Islip High School, small town. And that's where I met her. I mean, I wish I could let her tell you the story, but basically, when I walked into the building, I had my previous school's baseball uniform on because I was trying out for the team in the new school, and she thought I was like there for a game, so she like saw me, was like nudging her friends, like, "Who's this kid?" or whatever. And then the next day, I showed up, and like my locker was like across from hers, and she's like, "Oh, he goes here," and basically, kind of like that's how things got
That
kicked
is
off.
adorable. That's like a
Yeah.
cliche. You might as well be in the next Spider-Man movie, bro. Were you as cool back then as you are now? Like, did you have the same like swagger? And you can
I
be
feel
honest.
I feel like I haven't really changed that much from a young age. Like I've always been pretty like a little introverted, but I've always had style and things like that. So
Yeah,
I think people kind of gravitate towards that a bit.
for sure.
Um, so
Yeah, I
yeah, I
as I
guess.
just asked. I was cooler when I was younger. I always reflect back. I'm like, man, I don't know how to get cool again like I was. I'm I'm like, I don't know what.
I think you're pretty cool to me. You're cool to me.
Thank you, Christian. No, I just like I look back at like my skater days and like, I was like more I don't know. I look back and I think I was cooler. Obviously hindsight's 2020. Maybe I was lame. I don't know. Who knows? Actually I don't think that I was. I was pretty cool back then,
I think it's still in there.
I'm like, it's in here. Maybe I just don't want to let it out from time to time. Too reserved. But you went to 4 different schools. Why'd you go to 4 different schools? Was it like, did you guys move around or were you just getting in trouble?
Yeah, I moved around a lot. Like relationship issues with my parents, things like that. So, yeah, always moved. So like from a young age, I've always had to adapt to situations, to people. I think it's one of the reasons why I am somewhat of an introvert is because like I've always had to like feel out situations and like I can't just assert myself, I need to
Yeah.
like feel out what's going on here. I mean, I've went to a lot of different schools, so I'll
Yeah.
put it that way.
I feel that. Mine's like the opposite. I went to 5 different elementary schools and then I like settled in my middle school, high school, got to kind of coast through, which is convenient. I can't imagine going to 4 different high schools. Because it took time to build up a reputation. You know what I'm saying? Like it was.
Yeah, I feel you.
Um,
But there was something about being the new guy
yeah,
that
and you play sports too.
yeah,
So,
playing
um,
sports definitely made things a bit easier.
yeah, I didn't have that luxury. I was just like a skateboarder. Um, your friendly neighborhood pot dealer. So that's how I became popular in high school, and I did really well in school, so that helped. But I wasn't tall, dark, and handsome like young Christian Harris. So with my I didn't have a baseball outfit to come to school in. What'd your parents do for a living?
My mom did like administrative work for like construction companies, so like office work, and my dad was an electrician.
Okay, so pretty blue collar. I mean, growing up, did you
Yeah.
have aspirations to do something specific? Because I don't imagine they pushed you into a certain role, right? Like it's not like you had a dad that was a doctor. That's like, Christian, you're going to be a doctor. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Did you want to do something
I
specific?
dreamed of being like a pro baseball player. Like that was my thing. I thought I was gonna play baseball. Um, and then somewhere in high school, I kind of like my mindset shifted, and I think I grasped onto reality a little bit, and I don't know, it just kind of changed.
Yeah, reality being that you maybe wouldn't be a MLB player.
No, I think that was still there like up until probably junior, senior year. But then I think what happened was I just got sick of playing baseball. And when I found football, it just kind of like it took over and that became like my big passion. And I just saw so much from it that I was able to relate with. Like again, like the camaraderie aspect, the hardworking side of things, like being in a weight room, being able to see yourself improve mentally, physically. I think I really just gravitated towards that, and I should have stayed with baseball, but I gave it up.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right?
Yeah.
I think where you're at now is pretty freaking cool. Do you have a favorite or like a proudest moment from childhood?
Um, got some deep questions.
There's
I
more.
like it. Let's revisit that one.
Yeah, I got
'Cause we
another one too. We'll revisit. Well, we can't revisit if we haven't visited it in the first place. So I have another one that we'll visit later. Um, you what's your favorite band, Christian? If you had to choose one artist to listen to the rest of your life, who would it be?
A band.
Or like artist, or yeah, a band or an artist, or I don't know any other phrase. something like that.
Hmm.
Well, let's start here.
I mean, my favorite artist is Kanye.
Okay, so that's the best rapper alive, you would say?
No, I don't think he's the best rapper, but I think from a versatility standpoint, being able to produce, write, rhyme, do all of it, everything under the sun, I think it makes his catalog of music very diverse.
Yeah.
So, like, if you want something that's super hip hop, like, you can listen to, like, his early stuff. If you want something a little bit more electronic, you can go 808s and Heartbreaks, you know? So he's got a diverse catalog, in my
Yeah,
opinion,
he definitely does. He's got a diverse career trajectory in general.
and
Um,
personality as
yeah.
well.
Who is the greatest rapper alive?
Man, I mean, Drake's gotta be up there.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, like
I don't think
Drake,
there's any
Eminem,
denying that.
Lil Wayne. Who?
All great. For
Yeah.
those 3 you just said, they're all great.
Kendrick.
It's too there's too many now,
Yeah.
to say who's the greatest ever. I think what you could do is maybe, like, put it by decades or something like that, you
Yeah,
know?
of like different. Who's the greatest dead rapper?
Uh, Biggie for me.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. You're probably biased though, just from being
probably.
yeah. Um,
Honestly, I never really listened to Tupac like that growing up. Um, but
yeah, I like Biggie better. I think he flowed better. Like just obviously our ears like different things, and I like to listen. I just like listening to Biggie flow more than kind of like I don't know, like the aggressive gangster. I do love Tupac, but it was just more, it was just different. You know what I mean? It's like a
yeah.
different sound. Uh, so no, I agree. What about and most people don't know about like some of these like Bone Thugs and Harmony. You play that in your car, and most people are like, is this new? You know?
Yeah.
If so, Bone Thugs and Harmony or Boys in the Hood.
Probably Bone Thugs.
Okay, all right, we're getting somewhere. That's all I got for now. We're gonna get off the rap track for now. Um, have you ever, if you were to not live in New York in Long Island, what part of the country would you live in?
Another great question. I've always loved California. Um,
Day and night, totally
but
different. Awesome.
but it's like if you're gonna move, I feel like you want to move to kind of set yourself up for like some financial freedoms, and I think going down south would be a little bit
Yeah.
more my speed nowadays. My mother actually just relocated to South Carolina. And we took a
Love it.
trip during COVID to North Carolina. I was like, I feel like I could live down here.
Both are
And
great spots.
it's one of the places that the wife and I agree on is the
Oh, that's good.
Carolinas.
No, dude, North Carolina is like, I like South Carolina a lot too. I probably see you more in North Carolina. Um, you got the mountains. There is a beach if that matters, obviously, but it's a little far if you like live in Charlotte or something like that.
Sure.
Um, but man, the area in that Charlotte, like, um, you got the big city, Charlotte, right there. You've got a major sports league. You got, NBA, NFL. But then it's like you could live in a part of town where everything's 5 minutes away. Like you get like your little town vibes, but the big city's not too far. You've got hills, you've got mountains, you've got trees. It's great weather. I like North Carolina, clearly.
Yeah.
Um, I don't,
Sold.
yeah, it's great, man. I mean, it's funny. I'm moving to Vegas, which is the total opposite of North
Oh yeah.
Carolina. Um, but
Where are you at in your trek?
so I'm in Amarillo, Texas right now.
Okay.
I'll drive like 9-10 hours to Flagstaff today, stay in Flagstaff, and then 4 hours to Vegas tomorrow. So I will be in my new
Yeah, I was just
apartment
gonna say you
tomorrow.
should be able to finish that out in like a day or two.
Yeah. Like today's the long day. As soon as you and I are done here, grabbing my briefcase and walking out of this hotel and getting back on the road with my friggin' U-Haul
Yeah.
trailer going 60 miles an hour. There's nothing more humbling than driving across the country and getting passed by every single person on the road.
Yeah, that's gotta
You
be
know?
something. You just gotta accept it.
Yeah,
Just
you're
gotta
like,
take it.
if only, you know? But I got like 8,000 pounds worth of stuff in this U-Haul because I got like 3,000 pounds of gym equipment in it. You know what I mean? So
Got your whole
I'm just,
life in there.
yeah, I'm riding slow, homie. You know what I mean? Like just going, 55
That's
the
a
whole
that's a
way.
Kanye song, "Drive
Yep.
Slow, Homie."
Um, who else was that? Paul Wall and Kanye.
Yeah, yeah.
Paul Wall.
Paul
Um,
Wall.
fun fact. Actually, like nobody knows this about me. So I grew up in Central Florida, and like part of my upbringing was there was drugs and that type of stuff involved, and I sold drugs. I spent a lot of time in the trap house as a kid, and I had a grill, and nobody. I forgot. I don't tell people this because it never comes up. But now that I'm thinking of Paul Wall, because that was like that era. You know what I mean? Like
Yep, yep.
Paul Wall made it acceptable for white people to have a grill too. You know what I mean? And so like I had two different sets. I would wear them in the trap house because like I would pay my dues in the trap house on the regular every weekend. And so I had one that was all gold, all yellow gold, and then two open face canines. And then I had another one that was all yellow gold with white gold, like diamond cuts on the canines.
I mean, speaking of grills, I'm having like a midlife crisis. I feel like I want to get a grill. I've been I've been on been telling the folks at Airwave
Bro,
to make a gold grill
that would be dope. I mean, like, why
or gold
not?
Airwave, you know?
Dude, yeah, no, it's people like you that brands get like this creative. Yeah, because I would never even think of that, even though I had one, That's so
Yeah.
genius. I could see you with a grill, 100%. I just probably wouldn't do permanents. I'm not like a permanent grill fan,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I mean, have you
But
seen this new thing though with the diamonds? You
no,
put like you get veneers, but you get like a diamond in your canine.
no, I have not
Just
seen
like a
that.
just like a little touch of ice.
Yeah, like just like when you smile, people like did like bing,
Like Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Yeah, dude, it's like, did anybody else just see that?
Yeah.
Did that shine? What was that? Something in his mouth. That's so funny, man. Um, Christian, did you have a nickname growing up or anything?
Didn't really have anything until like um I'd say my first year of college.
What was
This
that?
one dude used to call me Crisco because I was smooth like Crisco oil is what he
Hey, there it is.
is the analogy that he came up with. So side thing that went on, I used to rap
Of
and
course.
that was the name that I used for a little while.
I love it, man. We need to get you and Justin Kotler in a room, have him do some R&B flow, some singing. You can do some rapping. Oh man, that would be
Yeah, I mean, that'd be some magic right there.
bro. And you know Kotler really well because you were on Team Dynamics, right?
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
you guys kind of go way back.
We've got some
Um,
vibes.
I'm telling you, man, that would be that would be something to see, bro. Like a post semifinals show at the local uh, you know, I don't know, blues bar or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll put it together when we get off this call.
All
I'll
right.
start making some calls. I'm just
Make
kidding
some
you.
things happen.
Yeah. Do you have a hero or heroes like growing up aside from Spider-Man?
Yeah, my grandfather,
Okay.
may he rest in peace. He was a truck driver for the New York Times. But he was just always someone there that was more of a father figure to me than my dad was. And always had just great, you know, just life stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, I'd say my grandfather.
Something about people that age. I mean, like the level of wisdom and experience from like that time, that era is so different, right? Like
Yeah.
even just the quality of like I don't want to say that, I don't know how to say this right. Just like men were different back then. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to offend anybody, but generally people were just more manly. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like just like stern and strong and like the, I remember my grandpa. I don't remember, like, he was either saying like the funniest thing or like the smartest thing every
And
single
that's
time.
it's exactly the same. Like he was like one of the funniest guys that I know, and like I'm glad that my oldest son had the opportunity to meet him and like have a couple of years with him because he used to make my oldest guy like cry laughing. Like I have videos. I'm gonna have to post it one of these days.
Yeah, let's see it. That's cool. And you've got 2 boys
2 boys, 10
and
and
one
6.
10 and 6. Okay. Um, that would mean that your bio, I think it
Needs to
says
be
8.
updated.
Yeah, 8 and 4. Um, that's the worst thing about like a living, breathing public bio. Like, what do you check it every month? Like, I don't know how often I should change mine. You know what I mean? Like,
I
every
mean, it
time I
just
do
goes to show
something
you
new.
how the last time I checked it, so
Yeah. You had short hair. So let's dive back into these. If you've had a chance to think about it, I'm gonna circle back to that other question. But um, what's your earliest memory in life?
one of my how's the audio? Can you hear my wife in the back?
I can't hear what she's saying or doing. I can just hear
But
like,
is it alright?
yeah, you're
Do
good.
I need to close the door?
Nah, you're good.
Alright. One of the earliest things I remember is, like, my first birthday party. Um, I had, like, this McDonald's like, you know how girls will get, like, the kitchen,
Yeah.
like, the play kitchen? I had, like, the play McDonald's, like, fast food chain.
Hey,
So,
I like.
it had, like, plastic burgers and fries and all that kinda stuff. Um, I just remember it being yeah, a lot of people, super loud, but that's, like, one of the earliest things I remember.
Dude, for one, your first birthday?
My first birthday, yeah.
I don't know anybody else that remembers age 1. Like, wow. Um, what was the toughest experience you can recall um, having gone through? And obviously, you can omit any of the, if it's too tough, you can do the second toughest or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, yeah. Um, one of them was dealing with the loss of my grandfather. He passed from cancer. Um, and it was, like, one of my first times, like, seeing someone, like, go from like, you see them every day, and then day by day, you just see how the cancer just, like, starts to eat away at someone and, like, really affects them. And, to his last few days, just almost like a zombie, Um, and it happened quickly. And, it's definitely one of the toughest things I've had to deal with.
Did you use that? I don't want to say use it, but did that motivate you in any way? Like, because as we get older, it becomes more and more evident, like the frailty of life, right? Like how short life truly is, and the impact we want to have on our kids or the people around us or the community or the world. Like, did that spark anything in you?
Yeah, a couple of things. One is just, like, my legacy, like, what I wanna leave behind. So it's something that what I do every day, I'm trying to set myself up for that, but also longevity. After seeing that, it's inspired me more to, I guess, just like, obviously, I'm a healthy individual, right? Like, I compete in CrossFit, which isn't, like, a healthy thing, but I'm into fitness, I'm into nutrition and things like that, but I'm now, over the past few years, I've been looking at things from a more longevity standpoint, so the things that I'm putting into my body, even from something simple like trying to not use tinfoil or cook on tinfoil, you know what I mean? Because of the metals that you're putting in your body, like, just try to make the conscious decisions to to be healthier, and then trying to leave that imprint on my kids to, learn about nutrition, and so they can live fruitful lives as well.
Yeah, that's good. And that's super important, man. I mean, I think um, our exposure to media is a double-edged sword, right? Because social media, uh, you and I can put anything we want on social media, and it, you know, 23,000 people or however many on Instagram are actually going to see it, are going to believe that because they follow me and they believe what I say most of the time. You know what I mean? And so on one end, it's like we have access to so much information that our parents and grandparents didn't have, right? Like they were using tinfoil. You know what I mean? Like these were an afterthought. And if anything, they didn't have a choice. And so now that we have a choice, it's so interesting how our access to information allows us to leverage that to live longer, better, higher quality lives.
For sure.
So yeah, my grandpa died of emphysema, basically lung cancer. And so like, cause in the Navy, they're just freaking smoking 100 cigarettes a day. You know what I mean? Like that was just like, so now it's like, we know that that's probably not good for you, like clearly don't do that anymore, what's the most trouble you've ever been in your lifetime? Were you a trouble kid, or were you like super well behaved?
No, I was a good kid, good student. My troubles didn't come until later. No, the most trouble was probably I almost got locked up for drinking and driving, but I didn't drink and drive. I dozed off.
Okay, yeah, been
So
there.
I had to get out of the car, do a sobriety test, and the cop was still not having it. So I had to blow into the breathalyzer, but I was fine, obviously.
Yeah.
Here I am. But
Right.
that was one of the scariest things, right? Like anytime you're driving and you see lights flash behind you, you're like, come on, what's going on here?
Yeah.
There was actually another one recently. I was going to the gym. It was a Sunday morning. It must have been 6 a.m. No one's on the road. I leave my house and I'm making a right onto Main Street, which is like your town type of street,
Yeah.
But as I'm making the right, I'm looking to my left and I'm seeing in the distance a car that is just coming real fast, but not fast enough that I can't make my right-hand turn, right? So I make the turn, and then the next block, I make a left to get onto Nichols Road, which is kind of like a freeway. And this car is it's gotten so much closer. I'm like, damn, this person's flying. So I make the left, and then as I'm making the left, they're right up my ass. So I go to speed up, and then 2 seconds later, the lights come on, and I'm like, what the fuck? All I was doing was just trying to get out of your way.
Yeah,
and,
I'm getting away from you, bro.
So I end up getting pulled over, and I'm looking for my wallet. Don't have my wallet on me. This is also during pandemic times. I'm olive skinned,
Yeah.
I'm darker skinned, right? So I roll my window down, keys out, put my hands out the window to show I'm not a threat. And long story short, I get let go, but I don't know how I got let go. But it was a good morning.
Is that normal for you to put your hands out the window when you get pulled over? Is that
Yeah, so law enforcement will say if you're ever talking to somebody, if you have your hands either on the steering wheel or out the window, it just shows that you're not a threat. You know what I mean? Because that's a big thing that cops if they're approaching a vehicle that's pulled over, you don't know what the hell's inside of there, right? So if you have your hands there, it just shows respect and that you're not a threat. It also shows that you know somebody in law enforcement.
Yeah. They're
You know
good.
what I mean?
Good start. Christian, what ethnicity are you?
Ooh. What am I not?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're mixed.
I'm a
but
mutt. I'm a mutt.
Means anything.
I got an ancestry thing for Father's Day 2 years ago.
Nice.
And without having to pull up all the data, essentially I am majority Eastern European Jew, African, like within the African, there's probably like 5 or 6 mini like segments of that.
Yeah.
Um, and then other regions in Europe, which kind of makes up like the Puerto Rican side, and a little bit of Cherokee Indian, like indigenous America.
You cover it all. Do you have
Yeah.
any Asian in you or not?
No.
Can't have it all, man. Can't have it all.
Yeah.
No, I did. I took the ancestry thing, and of course, I knew like I would have some English in me, some German, a little bit of Irish, but I had
What caught you off guard?
Spanish. So like, but like Southern Spanish. So really like white people Spanish. You know what I mean? Like Spaniards.
Okay, gotcha.
Like cool analogy or cool comparison. If you remember the Gladiator, he was a Spaniard. The Spaniard. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I'm a
Yep, yep.
gladiator basically by her. No. So I hit up my Spanish friends and I'm like, yo, y'all got to invite me to like barbecues and stuff now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right?
Like, I'm in the family. So, you know, because like white people don't traditionally have like these big, huge family things. Like Spanish people, for example, every Spanish person I know, like their birthday is like a big thing. Like everybody's
Mhm.
there, they're dancing, you know. I'm like, you got
Well,
to
listen,
invite me to these.
my wife is she's half Italian, half Puerto Rican, so I get all
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. The Italian side. I mean, like my nonna, my dad's mom is 100% Italian, so like we grew up around that, and that was just like, you know, if you have you ever seen Godfather?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like just a smaller version of like that original birthday party or wedding. You know
Sure,
what I mean?
sure.
Like she like jumps around and sings and stuff like that. Um, Rest in peace to Nona. But yeah, so that hit up all my Spanish friends. I'm like, y'all gonna invite me now. And they're like, well, you gotta learn Spanish. I'm like, well, that's fair. I'll work on it. You I told you, man, I jump around here, but you were at Wadapalooza. Why didn't you compete at Wadapalooza?
Things just kind of didn't line up on the team side of things. It was supposed to be Easy Muhammad, Ethan Helbig, and myself, and things were going good. And then I competed at the Spartan Games, and one of the events at the Spartan Games was wrestling,
Yeah.
and I ended up dislocating my thumb
Oh,
wrestling, so I couldn't like really squeeze or like hold a hook grip or anything like that. And I knew the qualifiers were coming up, so I told them like I'm still down to do it. I'm going to talk to like I know Dylan Malitsky, and I was just going to see if like we could bypass the qualifier, but that wasn't the case. So we had to do the qualifiers, and like when I saw the first workouts come out, it was like deadlifts and like bar muscle ups or something like that. I'm like, there's no way I could do this like with my thumb right now.
yeah.
So I told them like I'm not gonna be able to do it. But then like 2 weeks later, Morning Chocolate posted something like elite team, Christian Harris, elite Easy Muhammad, and Ethan Helbig will be at Wadapalooza. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And like at this point, I've already like committed to like not train, and like I'm gonna go there for work with Whoop. And so I sent this to Dylan, and he's like, well, do you guys want to come down and compete? And I'm like, yo, if you would have just told me that in the first place, I would have been there, you
Yeah.
know?
The influence of media in sport. You what's your favorite competition that you've ever done to date?
Favorite competition. I do like Wadapalooza. It is a fun one. I'd say that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's always fun in
Um,
the sun. And I've always
cool.
done team.
Yeah, team looks. I mean, just watching the boys and watching Thunder from Down Under. I mean, watching everybody really, but you know, they kind of lit it up. Did you have a
Yeah.
little FOMO where you're like, oh man, it'd be fun to be out there
A
with those
little
guys?
bit, a tiny bit, a tiny
Yeah,
bit. To be
tiny
honest,
bit.
I didn't really get a chance to watch much of it
Yeah, you were working.
Um,
You were grinding.
yeah, being by the booth and like doing like little mini seminars and coaching and stuff like that. Like it was
Yeah.
hard to spectate.
Do you remember your first CrossFit workout?
Fight Gone Bad.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's like to date my least favorite CrossFit workout, probably. Ew. What's
Yeah.
your favorite? What's your favorite like CrossFit workout or hero workout?
My favorite of the most common ones, I'd probably say is like Isabel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
30 snatches for time.
yeah, I remember doing Isabel like my first week in CrossFit, and I came in. I started doing CrossFit just under 3 years ago, like officially doing it, like only. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that was like one of the first workouts, and like snatches when you're brand new in CrossFit, like not hook grip. I'm strong as shit, so I'm just like muscle snatching 5 reps, putting it down, dying for 10 seconds, picking it up. I think I did it in like 3 minutes, but I was like, I don't think I did those right. Like
Yeah.
and then of course I get better at snatches and my Isabel time gets worse because I'm doing like the snatches right.
Proper.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like it was like, what? I'm getting worse, but I'm getting better. And so now I think it's probably a lot better now. I don't know. But what in how is playing sports outside of CrossFit good for the development in CrossFit?
I think one of the difficult things about CrossFit is that there's so many skills and things to try to get good at from a coordination standpoint that I think if you incorporate sports outside of CrossFit that especially you're not familiar with, it just kind of helps to build that mind body connection with coordination,
Yeah, coordination. That's a
you
good
know?
point. I haven't really thought of it that way. It's like in sport, say football, basketball, baseball too, but not as much. There's not really like you're constantly moving and like, yeah, like a 3-pointer is a 3-pointer, 2-pointers, 2-pointer, touchdown's touchdown. But like the way that you get a touchdown done every single time is like can never be perfectly replicated. So
Yeah,
like that's a good point of being like adaptable to regular sport because in CrossFit you're constantly like they're introducing new movements. So you're having to string together 2-3 movements you've never stringed together properly. And that's a good point. Um,
definitely.
what are your thoughts about steroids in general, but in the sport? Like obviously not do you approve because it's probably go ahead, answer the question.
Well, I don't approve, right? And it's one of the reasons why we weren't able to compete last year at the games. One of my teammates tested positive for a banned substance, and it's a supplement called DHEA, which is
Super
like
super common.
very common. It's
Not a
a
steroid or
supplement. No,
yeah.
not a steroid. It's something that basically helps support your hormones. Um, so yeah, there's that, but I don't know. I'm not really into like that side of things. I don't really know too much about it, believe it or not. Um, but I know it's not good for you, and I know that if you use these things, it's cheating. And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a really interesting topic and it's nuanced because on one end, we could measure like we could measure like genetic advantage by some people having a higher level of natural production of DHEA in their body. You know what I mean?
yep,
And then supplementing it to hopefully have that same advantage is illegal. And so there's nothing we can do about genetic advantage. Some people have higher test levels, and of course that could be their diet, their sleep, all these other
of
factors.
course,
Some people could have higher growth hormone production, and so it's like in one area, it's clear that taking performance enhancement drugs is not fair. But on the other end, it's like, well, some people are born with this. That doesn't seem fair either. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, yep, definitely.
so it's a
Like for
really
me,
interesting balance to talk about.
yeah, like I think if you're taking something that is like it's gonna help the quality of your life. Like for example, the DHEA, right? Like I don't get what the big deal was, and the amount that was found in her sample was like
Trace amount.
0.00, like something ridiculous. It's like the people that I guess if you're taking like the anabolic androgen and like whatever
Yeah.
supplements, like it's that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
the
I
big
I
no-no.
I agree with you as well, but it's like I agree if, but, and, right? Because it's like there's so many other factors, and I think that's why it's so
Yeah,
black and
yeah, you're
white,
right, you're right.
Like Alex just texted me, and we're talking about Alex, the producer, Soroka. Like if you have low testosterone levels, maybe genetically, but the average range is 200 to 400, just as an example, but you're in 150. Like if you could supplement a testosterone supplement to get within normal range, that doesn't necessarily give you a competitive advantage. Just gives you an equal playing opportunity.
Sure, yeah.
So it's obviously we're not going to solve it on this call, and I'm not I'm not promoting it by any means. It's just a really interesting, and it's very nuanced. It's not as black and white, but unfortunately the rules have to be, because it's very difficult to create like based on 0.01 to 0.07 it'll be this, and then based on
But it
0.08 to
seems like it is because if they're measuring to that finite number, it's like your levels have to be somewhere within
yeah,
that range, you know what I mean?
yeah, and
But
I think
I'm not an expert whatsoever on the subject matter.
yeah, neither of us are, so we could probably just we can bounce off this. What a couple other mildly controversial topics. What do you think about the monster? Not the monster. What do you think about Monster Energy in CrossFit? Net good or net bad?
It depends on what standpoint, but I think probably good for the sport for sure. I mean, a company like that with the amount of money that they have, like it can only be good for CrossFit. As far as the energy drink side of things, right? Like I think everybody knows that energy drinks are bad for you. The chemicals that you're putting into your body. However, I am slightly, I'm not going to say addicted, but I love caffeine and I don't
Hey,
discriminate.
caffeine is
So
good. Okay, let's not.
if uh if I was to come across a Monster, I'd probably drink one if I had no other
Caffeine source and you needed.
yeah, source of caffeine. So
Yeah, I bet. Caffeine's usually, or not caffeine. Monster's usually my go-to because I love coffee. Love me some espresso. You and I probably on the
oh
same
yeah,
page
that's
there.
my
I see it
jam.
every day on your story. I'm like, oh man, I need another one now. But sometimes I'm like, I don't really want coffee taste. Sometimes I'm like,
Mhm,
I
mhm.
want something like refreshing, like a soda, but I don't ever actually want a soda. So I'm like, I'm gonna get a Monster. Um, but yeah, no, I agree. I think everyone knows that the chemicals in there are arguably bad for you. We'll only know in the future.
Mhm.
But most likely not good. Well, definitely not good for you. But so they're either neutral or bad for you. And however, I don't think Monster coming in and sponsoring athletes and supporting the games is going to influence anybody any differently. Like CrossFit is the largest fitness platform globally. If people are going to drink energy drinks, they're drinking them already. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
not like all of a sudden CrossFit just approved of like sugary drinks. Like everybody's already eating their food and drinking their drinks. Like this doesn't change how people behave.
Yeah, I've been on a C4 kick lately.
C4 is good.
Yeah.
Um, I got off pre-workouts and stuff when I started CrossFit because it was like just upsetting my stomach, and I mean I would like blow up during a workout because my aerobic, just coming from bodybuilding and powerlifting, like I had no aerobic ability, let alone capacity. Like that wasn't even a word for me. It was ability.
So what for you? It kind of makes your heart kind of
Yeah, it would blow me
beating
up.
it out of your chest.
Yep. And also like I had to change my diet a lot when I started CrossFit because I was like Mr. High and Mighty with this perfect diet for years coming from the bodybuilding world, right? Like I thought I was on the perfect diet. But in retrospect, like it was a perfect bodybuilding diet. So when I started CrossFit, I was still consuming like 300 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs, and like whatever
Yeah,
subsequent fat, so like,
almost needed to flip it.
yeah, literally. And it took me a little while because it was hard to accept, like, oh man, I'm gonna like lose my body, which in reality, nothing happened. I lost like 20 pounds doing CrossFit, but that's because this is like my ideal body weight should probably be, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, dude, I would drink some C4 or something before a workout, and not only my heart would blow up, my stomach would blow up. You know what I mean? Because I'm eating 300 grams of protein in a day, taking
Hell
a
yeah.
pre-workout with like niacin and all those things. So like mid Isabel, I'm like, oh God, like I'm working out outside. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why like EMOMs, I can take a walk around the block real quick.
Right.
No, so I had to switch that up completely, and now I just started adding back like I'll drink like half of a pre-workout before a workout or something like that.
That's kind of like what I do. Like, if I have a can, like I'll drink half of it, and then we have a fridge at the gym. I'll just throw it in there, and then like the next day I'll finish it off.
Exactly. Because once you get started, you don't really need help. But sometimes it's just like getting started, like getting that.
That's it.
That niacin vibe too, where you're like, let's go. Like you just like
that little bit of itchy.
To work out. Yeah. It's just like a trigger. You know what I mean? It's like it's time to get to start. I got a lot more questions, but I don't want to wrap this up maybe in the next 10, 15 because I know you got stuff to do today. So,
I do actually have to take my dog to the vet.
Hey, yeah. Well, yeah. You good for like 10 more minutes? Or you got to bounce?
Yeah.
Okay,
10 minutes is good.
Let me look here. If you could put anything on a big blank billboard for everyone in Long Island or everyone in the world to see, what would the billboard say?
FBGM.
Hold on.
That's a joke. I'm joking.
I'm just so happy that I got it. Like I'm still, you know what I mean? I'm still a little cool. I remember.
Yeah. See, you're cool. You're cool.
No, I was thinking of your website at first, like the is it work hard, stay humble, be kind?
Yeah.
So I was like, that ain't it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the opposite.
Yeah. The total opposite.
Okay. Well, other than that, what would it say?
Probably that. Work hard, stay humble, be nice.
Yeah, be nice.
I got it right there too. Back, work hard. You can't see it because of the mic, but
that freaking mic, man. What if who's a person or I guess team to compete against?
Favorite person or team to compete against?
Mm-hmm.
I used to like competing against my buddy Jake Marconi. You know Jake?
Who's Jake Marconi? No, we had Jake on last week. Yeah.
You know my buddy Jake? Yeah, I like Jake.
Best hair in the game.
Good throwing down with him when I got to throw down with him a bunch of times.
Yeah, I like Jake.
I got to spend some time with. That's when I met you at the games.
Yep.
We basically like were throwing down for about a week or whatever, and just always good vibes, good energy.
Yeah, I like Jake a lot. He's a great coach too. Not only a great athlete, he's a really good coach. A couple rapid fire. Summer or winter?
Summer.
What's your favorite number and why?
12. It's my birthday number.
Favorite cartoon as a kid?
Probably Bugs Bunny, like all the Looney Tunes cartoons. Yeah.
If you could talk to animals, like all animals, or understand every human language, which one would you choose?
I've been saying that I want to learn French, but if I had to choose an animal, I guess dogs.
No. You can talk to all animals.
Oh, you can talk to all that. Oh, I got you.
Talk to all humans.
Oh, now I get it. I guess the humans.
Probably more
If I could talk.
practical.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, kind of left field here. Did you read Brian Friend's article about um, sort of changing the pay structure for prize purses?
Comparing it to golf,
Yeah,
was it that?
yeah, like sort of like
I don't
first.
think I read up on it enough, but if you can give me a quick.
Yeah, so basically, top three takes like 90% of the prize purse typically in CrossFit competitions, with like first place being close to 50%, second place being like 25-30%, and third place being like 10-15%. And then everybody else is kind of a trickle down 1-2%, 3%.
Right.
Whereas golf, like first place gets like 35%. So it's just more evenly distributed, although it's still obviously in favor of first, second, third, down to the bottom. What do you think about that? You know, would you like to see it more evenly out, or is it more or less like win or don't?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's nice to spread the love a little bit, especially for most athletes. Like, a lot of them don't have like crazy sponsorships that are going to be anything substantial to pay for, their entire game stay, right? Like, it could end up costing a lot of money. So I think by doing that, it definitely makes it a little bit more worthwhile.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, when you get to the top, there's this arc where like you get to the top three or top five, and then you get the best sponsors because you're in the top three or top five. And if you're at
Yep.
5 to 10, 10 to 20, it's like not only do you not get anywhere near the same prize money, but you're not getting the same sponsors. So it's like it's self-defeating almost. Like you get to the top of the arc and it's bombs
Mm-hmm.
away.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're, it's like you get to kind of like hang here for a little while until you win first through third, and then
Yep.
you can take off. So I agree. I like Brian's article a lot. We changed the prize purse around the Zalos games. Not that it's $250,000 like Rogue or anything crazy, but just to be more equitable. It made sense. I liked it a lot. Um, if you were going to measure, or how much of success in CrossFit in your experience or in general do you think is hard work, and how much do you think is genetics? Like if you were going to give it 50-50, 60-40, like draw it on a pie graph, what do you think? Hard work or genetics?
I'd say that's tough. My gut, I would say 70-30 hard work, 30% genetics. Yeah.
That's fair. Are you a reader, Christian?
No. I think last time we spoke too, we touched on this a little bit. And the last couple of podcasts that I've been on, we've spoke about reading, and I'm saying, oh yeah, I got to get on it. I need audiobooks.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll when we get off, I'll message you some. There's so many fire audiobooks, honestly. I'm more of a reader. I like text, but every once in a while I'll come across a book where I'm just like, no, I'm going to listen to this one because it's either the way that it's recorded, or just the content. Like I listened to Shoe Dog because it was someone telling a story.
I think I might have been talking to you. Like, I have Shoe Dog, the audio, the actual, like, I bought it on
Yeah,
iBooks or whatever it's called, but I haven't gotten into it just because I got to sit there and read it. I can't.
yeah, it's like 800 pages too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would listen to it. It's so good. And as an entrepreneur, but also an athlete, you would be motivated because it's kind of like that's the story of Nike. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I mean, I listen to podcasts all the time,
Yeah.
which is why, like, if I had an audio book, it would be just like an easy transition, you know?
Yep. I got a few that I really like, that just the way that they read it, instead of just some boring guy reading a book. It's like it's interactive. So
Sure,
there's a
send it my
couple.
way.
I will. Um, Last but not least, Christian, what's your advice for someone wanting to start CrossFit very early on in CrossFit? What's your best advice for someone how to get good?
For how to get good.
How to get good.
Can't get good without the foundations. So in the beginning, especially technique, technique, technique. You don't have to like bury yourself every session. That's one thing that I wish I would have known from the beginning. Like, you don't have to like 3, 2, 1, go and like hit the send button every single time. I think most people in the beginning will get the most bang for their buck out of learning the foundational movements and techniques with their lifting, especially and the gymnastics. And then I think what a lot of people don't do enough is build their aerobic engines, and they end up burning themselves out, and that's why they end up getting injured or whatever the case may be. They try to do too much too soon, too fast too soon.
Yeah. Be patient.
Mm-hmm.
That's great advice,
It's a
Christian.
journey. It's a journey.
It is a journey. And I think if you look at it and more of a long-term journey versus like, I want to make it to the games in 9 months, then you'll have longevity and you can actually probably reach some of these crazy goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people that want to like get good in 1 year and compete, you know, just because they see these teenagers or something like that. Then it's like, then they tear up everything because they're trying to do 7 sessions a day. And,
Exactly.
so that's great advice, Christian. Hey, man, thanks for being on the show today. I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Absolutely.
You've gotten to know a little bit more about me than I think most people even know. That's kind of fun. But no, it's been great getting to know you, man. So I appreciate
man.
your time
I appreciate
today.
the conversation. It's been good. I love it.
Likewise, bro. So until next time, thanks for being on the Athlete Stories podcast. Everybody, this is Christian Harris. You can learn more about him in the show notes. You can find him Instagram. I am Chris Harris. His little name is in the bottom here. Move Fast, Lift Heavy Gym. Move Fast, Lift Heavy Media. Move Fast, Lift Heavy Apparel. Thanks again for being on the
and
show,
listen,
man. Yeah.
If you guys want to do what I do for training, you can hop on board the Train with CH program. It's my exact program. Basically, I do a week's worth of programming and then I modify it. I'll put some tweaks in there, put my results in there, give you some advice on the workouts. And yeah, you guys could follow along with exactly what I'm doing for training.
What's the website for that? Train with?
For that, it's mflhtrain.com.
Thanks again, Christian. Have a good rest of your day, man. Good luck at the vet. And I'm sure I'll see you sooner than later.
Absolutely, bro.
All right, bro. See you.